Hi.
Hello. Happy Sunday. Deedee, how are you? How are you doing?
Well, I've been sick for like 2 weeks, so I'm just on the recovery path. But I did doing that, being sick, I still managed to paint the trim on the outside of my house.
Did you
Why it lasted for
seriously?
2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Now that is dedication right there, let me
Yeah,
tell you.
I really wanted to get it done.
Ugh. Yeah, oh, I bet you it feels nice though to have is it like it's done, right? It's completed?
Yeah, it's the same color, so it's just like it was really like weathered, and so just doing that, like no one will notice except for me, but it
But
looks
you'll
so
know.
clean and fresh.
Yes. And that's a nice feeling to have the freshness and
Yeah.
all updated. I love that. Um, I don't know if anyone saw the post I put up on divination with Dani, but my roommate's dog Leo, he decided that he was going to help me with some tarot videos the other day, and he ran off with my justice card. So I ended up having to get a new deck, but I was really excited about it in the end because today I found a traditional the from the 1909, which has the traditional backing on it. So I was so excited, and I have been shuffling these cards all day to get used to them and to get them mixed up. So we have a fresh deck to play with. So
I love that.
excited.
Except I wonder why he ran off with the justice card.
I know. I was like, you know what? And then I was looking into I was trying to figure out, okay, justice is about, being fair, the balance, doing what's right. Sometimes maybe he just wanted to be heard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just one of
He's
those
pay
things.
attention to me.
I'm just like, oh, all of the cards. I'm like, okay. But yeah, oh yeah. I don't know if I have it here yet because I haven't had the heart to destroy it yet. But yeah,
Oh,
he ate it.
done. Aw.
So tonight we talk about dreams, right? Dreams
Yeah.
and investigations and how they intertwine. And I'm so excited about this. This is one of those topics where I feel like if people would pay attention to their dreams before or after an investigation, I feel like
Yeah.
they'd connect with things a lot more.
Yeah.
Um,
I have 2 experiences, and I've heard other people talk about experiences. It's one more tool in the toolkit that you should at least pay attention to, kinda write down your once you, say, book a location or know you're gonna investigate a
yeah,
location, start keeping track of your dreams, like, that week leading up to it or however much time there is. Then, if you're sleeping in the place, obviously, and then the next, week after, what is there anything in those dreams that kind of points to the investigation
yeah.
because it can happen. So,
Yeah, I never thought of that, but couldn't you could actually set an intention to connect with
sure.
somebody or something from the location prior,
Yeah.
right? Through
Oh,
dream.
definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
exciting.
That would be a great intention. Just kind of say, if you know a specific spirit that's there, you could even ask, hey, can you let me know, what your thoughts are on me coming there or whatever
Yeah.
you want to know? Are
Oh
you
my
ready for
goodness.
us? It would be really
I
interesting.
feel like we don't utilize dreams enough when it comes to
No,
investigations at all. That's
that's
a
true. I've asked so many investigators, and a lot of times they're just like,
yeah, yeah, no, because I don't even think about it half the time. And really it makes sense though, because it's all energy and we're working with connecting to energy. So it's almost like a doy, why wouldn't you? But it's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. People have to get used to the idea of it and get past the maybe I won't dream. It's like, we'll try.
Yeah, because
Maybe you won't, but you should try anyways.
but I mean, what if you're connecting and you're just not remembering your dreams, right?
True.
So I mean,
Yeah.
there's that. I know they say you dream, and I don't ever usually remember mine, but it's funny because sometimes there'll be a day or two later, I'll remember a snippet. I don't know how that happens,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Or even
it's
during
crazy.
the investigation, you might not remember your dream. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I feel like I did this before. And it could have been because
Yeah,
it was in a dream.
it could have been absolutely. Um, before we dive into this, I feel like this is such a great topic, but before we dive into this a little bit more, should we say there's a few people that have popped on? Let's
Yeah.
to some people. Okay. See, we have Mark Brown's in the house. Hi,
Hi,
Mark.
Mark.
See, and then that was us saying hellos. We have Deehoot. Thank you so much for
Hi,
being here, Deehoot. Courtney. Hi,
Courtney.
Courtney. Let's see, who else do we have? We have Krista. Hi.
Hi, Krista.
We have Big Daddy Andy in the house.
Hi,
Hi,
Andy.
Andy. Jenny Davis. Hello,
Hi, Jenny.
hello. See, did I grab? Oh, Stacy.
Hi,
Hey.
Stacey.
Hi, Stacy. I think For now, that is everybody. If I missed anyone, I apologize. I tried to zip through here. To everybody, hello. And did see there was, I think Dehood had a comment for you real quick.
Let's see. In a dream, someone I don't know pulls back limbs and leaves and reveals a large, great horned owl watching me. Sorry, this is off topic. Well, I mean, obviously something being revealed to you, some sort. I mean, the owl is classically like knowledge of some sort. So there's some, knowledge, have you had some kind of like revelation about something recently, or what does an owl mean to you? But that's my first thought on that.
I love that.
Or maybe it wants you to see it because it's watching her and she's
it's
maybe not
kind of
seeing
like
it. Has
trying to
be
reveal that there
her.
is something there for her. Ooh.
Yeah.
What did Mark say? He has a very recent experience related to dream.
Oh.
Ooh, Mark, I hope you share with us, dear sir.
Yeah, share.
Let's see. What did Jenny say?
Keep getting dreams about one specific location and one of the spirits there. Ooh, that's cool.
That kind of goes along with what we were saying. We don't utilize dreams as an investigation tool as much, because that's something where, okay, if you continue to have that dream, if you make it to that location, maybe actually try to reach out to that specific spirit, or if they didn't give you a name, ask for the name, or they like just base a questioning around whatever was coming up in the dream, and maybe it would reveal something to you that maybe otherwise would not have been revealed.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I could share my story that totally relates to that, but I noticed Mark said, he says, I had a really shitty few weeks and he's wondering if he could get a card.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want us to forget that.
I can pull a card from Mark real quick before we jump in. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, Mark, this is for you, hon. Okay, I'm going to pull one more card. So this looks like, yes, okay. So you have, this is yes. 5 of Pentacles was your first card. So now with this card, it looks like there's a person who has the scales. So it's like a balancing act, right? And he's helping people that are a little bit less fortunate. Like they need a little bit of assistance. So he's assisting them because he has it. So this is kind of one of those, a balancing of energies. So where maybe you may have needed the assistance, that scale is balancing for you now. So now you'll be able to help others out in some way. If it comes to that, this is just like more of a leveling up kind of a thing. And I needed to pull a clarification card to see which way I was going to read that. And the reason I'm saying it's more of like a balancing and leveling out of a situation is because you are moving on to calmer waters. So with this one, what is this? This is the 1, 2, 3, 6. Was that 6? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is what happens, right? I get on camera and all of a sudden I don't know my numbers. 6 of Swords is one of those, I don't know if you can see it, but there's the rougher water here and they're moving away from it. They're moving into the calmer and they're not looking back. So this is kind of saying whatever situation that you were in, you're moving away from it. You're not going to have to repeat it, and just moving on to an easier time. So I hope that helps you a little bit there, Mark.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys want to post any of your stories of like investigations that you've had and how the dream related to the dreams, we'd love to hear them. If you want to put it out on the side or just tell us later.
Oh, yes, please. So because you are more, you're very good at picking up with your dreams and being able to interpret them. Do you utilize that as an investigation tool for yourself when you go into investigations now?
Well, I always have, but I've only had 2 experiences, which is still for me, that's good because I haven't been on hundreds of investigations. So, I mean, that's still a high number for me. The first time it happened to me was around 2018 or 2017, 2018. And it was Zach Bagans had built his haunted museum. And so I was going to go, and there was like a couple of months leading up to it. And I kept having dreams about it. And the dreams were like crazy and had nothing really to do with the museum, but I think it was my excitement in going. And one of the dreams I had was a little bit different. Like there's always like something that's just a little bit different about the feel of the dream. And I was looking in a mirror, and behind me, I saw all these black shadow figures. And it was like kind of like in the reflection in the mirror, that's what I saw. And so I was like, wow, that's really scary. And so when I went to the museum, I had never been to it before, so this is my first time. When they did the Bela Lugosi mirror, they said, who wants to go first? And so I said I did. And so I stood in front of the mirror and I looked, and they have it angled. So the way you're looking at it, you're kind of seeing the top of it. And what I saw was exactly what I saw in the dream, but they weren't shadow figures. They were all the people waiting for their turn, because it's a dark room. And so they were all lined up behind me. And that's what I saw. But that's what I saw in my dream. So I've always been curious, like, what is that supposed to reveal to me? Like, what am I supposed to know about that? Why, of all the different experiences I had in that museum, why was that the one object? Or so I thought maybe you could pull a card and kind of give me clarification.
I would love to
like,
pull
what is the message in that?
The message behind that dream. Okay. I love, because that's almost like a premonition, premonitory.
Yeah,
I don't know
it totally was.
Yeah.
A premonition. Yeah.
Okay. Now let me pull one more card, because I think I know exactly how I'm supposed to read this. Yes. Okay. So you have the Three of Pentacles for this, and this is one of those building your skill sets kind of a thing. It's somebody showing their craftsmanship, and there's two scholars, and they're all discussing like the craftsmanship of the pillar that he's working on. So this is like that give and take of information and of knowledge, and for strengthening what you already know with something that maybe you can collect like knowledge from somebody else. So I feel like for this instance, that may have been your dreams were showing you how connected you were to that moment, that it was.
That makes sense.
Right. Yeah. And it really was one of those, like, for like the passion of it. Right. So like the Queen of Wands is like that passion for the connection for that. Like there's, because it's something that was going to spark like, hey, yes, you can do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, I love that.
That is so, I love that. Like in the dream, they were just shadow figure. Like you hadn't seen faces or anything. Right. So
no.
really,
yeah, I thought that they were shadow figures, but they were actually the people, but I couldn't see their faces because they were all shadowed, because they have the light so dim in there, and you're looking in a mirror, so you're seeing a reflection, and they were all, I was like, oh my God, that's it. And I remember staring in the mirror going, oh my God, that's my dream.
So cool. So had you been prior to, I'm sorry, I know you probably said this and I just didn't catch it. Had you been in the museum prior to this event?
That was my
this was like your first time in the museum. Did anything about your dream, did anything else spark besides the mirror? Or like, did any of it feel like the same room other than the mirror? Or I know that's like hard to ask.
The only image I remember from the dream was literally looking in the mirror and observing the shadows behind me. So it was like, it was pointing out that moment of time for me. And I think it was less about the mirror in the museum and more about like what you said, letting me know you can have this experience. Yeah. Because I wasn't as into it. I was into dream interpretation, but not so much. Like I was into paranormal and dream interpretation separately. And that kind of put it together for me. So,
oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. I love that so much. Absolutely.
Oh, justice for Leo.
Yeah, Leo won over the cards that day. He was trying to fully embody the energy of the Justice card in that moment. I am matching a lot of my dad and my daughter, which means they are trying. Yes, I totally believe that people do reach out to us.
I do too.
Just to let us know or to give us messages.
Yeah, there's something that's an important message. Let's see. There's a lot of comments here. Let's see. Let's see. Stacy wants a card. He's going to send it through Messenger because it's too long, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Sandra.
Hello, Sandy. Let's see. I can pull a card for Stacy really quick.
Sure. Oh. So it's not a good ending, huh?
Oh. Stacy, something that you've been putting a lot of energy and time into is going to start blossoming. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. Seven of Pentacles. So Seven of Pentacles is that the time that you've put into something but he's going to be able to, the fruits of all of his labor are coming into, they're coming into season, right? So he's just, you sit back and you let everything that you put into it's going to start coming to you. So this is a time of sitting back, resting a little bit from all of the effort that you've recently put into something, and to watch it kind of take its own course and just to reap the benefits of all of that. And this is going to, King of Swords, this is going to change maybe some thought processes, or this is going to solidify a thought pattern that had been going. So it's either going to clear the clouds, wipe out the bullshit, or it's going to verify something that you knew that you were dead on to begin with. I'm sorry, I know that sounds really vague, but depending on what this situation is going to depend on whether this is clearing the clouds for you, or if this is going to be nailing home something that you were already pretty certain on already. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense for you. Without sitting down and doing like a lot of back and forth with questionings, it's hard to like make it very specific with the cards. But I feel like that's a really good reading. Like whatever you've been putting your energy in is going to start kicking in.
I like that for a reading. Yeah.
Right? It's not a bad reading.
This is interesting what Sandra's saying about since she's been pregnant, she's had a lot of odd dreams. And I wonder, and that would be a really interesting subject for me to kind of tackle and maybe even do a study on, is that, and I feel like, does that mean that, you know, so we have our baby with us, so we have another human that's within us. Is this like something from the baby, you know?
I mean, what? Yeah,
I'd be curious to know what the
right?
dreams are. Yeah.
Because you have
you're kind
of two conscious beings
within one
inhabiting basically one space at this moment, right? So
yeah. So you'd be, and you are so connected to your baby when you're pregnant. So, I mean, even like being upset and the baby moves around and like, there's already a bond. So I could see where dreams, maybe there'd be like little connections.
Oh, I love that. It's just, do we know, has there been any kind of study that can scientifically prove that babies are dreaming inside the womb? Like, is that a thing? I don't even know. I'm sorry. I know it sounds very ignorant right now.
I have not studied that, but that just sparked the whole idea of like looking into. I'm sure somebody studied it, but I don't know how you would verify it.
I don't know how you would either, but I mean, there's a medical science.
If spiders can dream, I'm sure babies.
I know. I was so excited when I saw that. I'm like, oh, spiders dream. I was like, oh my.
Crazy. And they have nightmares too.
Oh, poor little things.
I know. Oh, he says spot on.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad. I think a bunch of people. Hi, everybody who has come in.
Yeah, I've been clicking them up.
Well, guys, sorry.
I think she wants a card. The message that they're trying to tell.
Oh, like the message that they're trying to give you through the dreams. I can give a little bit of insight. I don't know, without knowing the dream, how helpful I can be, but I'm going to try my best. Okay. Hold on, I need clarification. Okay. So if this is a dream, and then there's a father and a daughter coming through. Was that what the dream was?
I think that's what she said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what this could be, now, if I'm wrong, or if you see something different, like I tell everybody always, you go with what you think, what you're seeing, and what you're feeling. I'm just going to run with what I'm seeing. So the first card I pulled was the Hierophant, and this is more like a connection to a higher power. It isn't necessarily religion, though the card does depict a very religious situation. It is more of a connecting to a higher power. So this is like a connection. So like maybe this is saying that, yes, you definitely connected with them, and that this is more of an emotional connection. So like the King of Cups, he is very kind and loving and taking care of people, and he's very connected with his emotions on a very balanced forum. So this is kind of like a soothing, like possibly just saying, hey, we're here. And then you have the Four of Cups, which is kind of, so when I see this is always a sign to remember to find those silver linings, be grateful for all of the things that are there, even if maybe the situation that's right in front of you, you're not necessarily good with. So like in this card, he's being presented with a cup, and he doesn't look very happy about being presented with this cup, but there are other things there, other choices, other means of just they're chalices for gratitude, basically, right? So there are things around you that just if you redirect your focus just a little bit, you'll see a lot of really good messages. So maybe this is they're trying to send you a message. So maybe keep an eye out for little signs, things that are happening that might have been very specific for them or are very specific for them. I don't know what the situation is, if they're still around or not. But yeah, I feel like this is just more like a connection, just to say,
It's interesting because in your reading, you were saying something that applies to this, that they just stand there, right? So they're there, but they're not doing anything. So I would then ask, as far as the dream goes, is there anything different about them? Are they, are their ages appropriate to how you know them or knew them? Are they holding anything? Are they trying to speak? What is the feeling in the room? Yeah, there's always a little bit more in the dream, I'm sure, than they're standing there. But what else? You have to kind of think about it. What else was happening?
Oh, I would let that sit with. I bet you something will come to you if you just sit with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I would. Yeah. Or even set an intention when you go to bed and ask, what are you trying to tell me?
Yes.
Reveal more to me because I don't understand,
I don't know why I used to never, I love, now that we've connected and we've talked about dreams, and I find that I now, more often than not, I will set an intention before I fall asleep just to see if I can get an answer for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even if you're saying, say something like, what can I do about a work situation? And you set that intention and you think you didn't have a dream. But I was reading, a psychiatrist was saying that your brain is still working that stuff out. So even if you don't remember the dream, it still got worked out while you were asleep, and it will help you when you're awake, and you'll be making decisions. You won't really know where a thought came from or your why, but it's because your brain worked it out and maybe just didn't share the dream with you, or you just don't remember.
That little seed in your mind, and it just,
I
love that.
And it works it out.
Love that so much.
Let's see, we have another card, but do you want me to share my other story?
Yes. Let me share the story, and then I will jump into a card for somebody then.
Okay. Yeah, I started it for Gina.
Okay. Perfect.
So the other one this is the most recent one, and this was last April. I went on investigation at the Hotel Palomar local to me. And so I had a dream that there was an apparition on the stairs, which wasn't like a big dream or anything. But when I went but I remember it was very I was observing. Yes. To me, it was yeah, I'm seeing this spirit on the stairs. This is important. It came to me that was important. And so when we went and we did the investigation, I purposely sat on those stairs because that's what I had a dream about, so out of everything, that's where I wanted to start and see if I could get any interaction. And that's where I got a really good EVP. And we all heard it in real time, and we got it on our recordings. And so it was all, it was my husband, Craig Owens, and then two sound guys. They were running a sound thing, the frequencies. They were running through different frequencies, which I think really is a good tool, because that seemed to really make a lot of activity when they did that. And when they stopped, the activity seemed to die down. So there was something about going through those frequencies, because they are disturbing to hear them. And so I got an EVP from a woman, and I was the only woman up there. It was very clearly over my left shoulder, and I could hear. So, I mean, I don't know, but I do have the EVP session in here. If you guys want to hear it, I can play it. And then when you get to the part where it says turn up your speakers, you'll have to, because it's quieter than I am. Oops, let's see. Or do I have the right thing up here?
And I'll let you know, there's a woman here who's just trying to keep things right, but people are starting to accuse her of being cranky. I think you're just trying to keep things right.
I thought I heard something.
So I don't know. I mean, she clearly says, yeah. And she's like, yeah, so it really, not even her tone went with what I was talking about. So I thought that was really cool. The only thing is, I noticed when I was putting this together, you do see 2 people walked past the outside door. So now that's stuck in my head. Even though I know I heard it behind me, I still see
Right.
that. So that bugs me. But, so regardless, I did do the EVP session there and it was really exciting. Also sitting on the stairs during Craig was doing his EVP sessions and I was just sitting there listening and recording. A man whispers, "Hey," right into my phone, which I'm holding in front of me. So clearly there was no man saying, "Hey." So I was like,
and you were the only female there that night, right? You were.
No, I was the only female there that night, but I was the only female up there during that EVP session. And the second one, there was a few of us up there, but you could hear it saying, "Hey," in my microphone. And there's no men around me. Everybody's spread out. My husband was filming and we're not close. And I would remember if he said, "Hey," and I'd be like, "What?"
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, that is very, very clear. And it sounds like it's somebody's agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah.
The tone of it and everything.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I see you're going to do the card, but I see Russ is here.
Yeah.
He also has a story to share. So I can bring up, okay, so here's Gina and then we'll bring Russ up.
Okay. I was gonna say, before I pull for Gina, did you have anything that you wanted a question for a card pulled for the EVP at all?
Oh my God. Yeah. I totally want to know. I kind of want to know, did they come to me in a dream because they wanted me to sit there on the stairs?
Let me pull one more card. I believe it was. Okay, so you got the. Okay. You got the death card and then the star. So the death card's all about transitions, right? So it's always about like that, leaving something behind for something fresh and new. So this may have been like a transitional, like the dream was transitioning you into that moment kind of a thing. And then you have the star, and the star is kind of one of those, like a guiding light, right? So I kind of feel like, yes, the dream was to guide you to that moment so that you could have this interaction with this spirit. It was almost like, because it's funny because they won't, you know how they say like the other side kind of time is different. So they sort of know what we're going to do before we do it. So it's kind of one of those, I feel like that location or that spirit specifically reached out in some form so that you had the dream of the stairs so that you would sit on the stairs for that specific moment. I love that.
It could be. I mean, think about, like I was telling you before we even went live, is that I've been obsessed with that hotel for a good 10 years because I've always heard rumors that it was haunted and they never had it open for investigations. And so I think we were the first like investigation where you could go in and investigate with the group. Like they did some couple of little test, investigations, but I was like the first group
for that too. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, it's like the spirits would have been accustomed to seeing me because I had been there many times, like snooping around. So
I love that.
There's little stores and I'd be like, "Can I go up there?"
Okay, I'm going to pull for Gina really quick. And then we have a very special guest to bring on screen.
Yeah.
Okay, Gina. Okay, Gina, I don't know if this is going to make sense to you, but are you struggling with making a decision, or do you feel like you're stuck at some point in your life? You have and I pulled a second card to help us out here, but I have the Two of Swords, right? And so this is a woman who is blindfolded. She has 2 swords crossed in front of her. And there's a moon in the background, and she seems like she's at the shore. There's a lot of water behind her. So water to me is always emotion, and the moon is usually those emotions where they're either darker or they're ones that we try to hide because we don't want to face them. And since she has the swords crossed in front of her, for me, that's like a symbol that you're almost preventing yourself, like you're making something feel bigger without realizing you're doing it. It's not like you're intentionally doing it, but you're letting a situation feel bigger than you. So it's harder to make that decision. With this, I would like to say, like, whatever is kind of like at the back of your head that you keep pushing away, if you maybe just sit with it without judgment of whatever it is, just maybe let it get a little bit of breathing room. You might get a little bit of clarity as to like what direction you need to start taking. And this will be a very grounded and a very fresh energy that comes through. So it'll be a fresh start for you. Whichever direction you end up choosing will be a good decision for you. The Ace of Pentacles, it's a fresh start with something that's very material, something to do with your job or the physical realm. Also could be, if you're not feeling very grounded in your life right now, this decision could make you feel very grounded and secure. So I don't hope that makes a little bit of sense to you. But that's what I was getting for that, is just sit with whatever you're battling inside, and it'll help you choose which direction that you're supposed to go. But
that's good. That's wise advice too.
So,
right.
Shall we bring our guest on?
Yeah.
Oh,
all
exciting.
Right. Are you doing it or am I?
Ross,
Okay.
what's going on? Oh, hold on. I can't hear you.
Muted.
Hold on. Let's unmute.
All right, let's see.
Hold on.
No, he has to do it.
Good evening, beautiful ladies.
Hi. How are you?
How are we doing tonight?
Doing well. How are
Good.
you?
Great. It's been a while since I've seen the both of you.
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever.
I know, right?
It has. So
How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Yeah, pulling my shenanigans together for this evening. I did it though. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I did it.
Hey, I was at an event 4 hours ago, so I mean.
Oh.
Okay, so you know how that feels, right?
Oh, trust me. Came home, caught a quick half-hour nap, and now I'm doing dinner, and I got this show and then my show at 9. So.
Oh wow.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for coming on, dear sir.
No, thank you for having me. Like, Deedee actually reached out to me after she actually listened to my show. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's actually great. So I mean, this is the Get Haunted Network all working together and bringing people together and bringing everyone.
Right.
So
Yeah.
no. So what do you guys have to ask? Like, I'm an open book. What is the sensitivity of?
Yeah, well, you had been mentioning on your show an experience. You had something about a dream and a paranormal investigation. So we thought that'd be perfect because that's what we're talking about.
Correct. So the dream I had, the location I had the dream about was actually Madison Seminary in Madison, Ohio.
Oh.
And I had been there multiple times. And I kind of had built a rapport with the building and the spirits that were there. There was a time where we were doing a training session because Madison was actually the training ground for the group I was part of. So we would take all new members plus ourselves up there to do like investigations to kind of like work out kinks of what we were going to do and everything like that. So it's great to have an ability to have a location that allows you to do that. There was a spirit on the second floor there that didn't particularly like me, because it was a very dominating male spirit.
Oh.
And was in Madison, the history of it was used for women, that it was a housing for women and children during the Civil War that could not own land. So say your husband died in the Civil War, you can't technically own land. So you had to go to a place like this to live.
Wow. Huh.
You imagine just like the sorrow and the frustration and
yeah,
there was a lot, and a lot of it was male presence, because that was one of the things that was like the orderlies and things like that were still heavily male based. The doctors, the nurses, things like that, because of course, back at that time,
right,
women, no offense to anybody listening or to you too, women couldn't do a lot supposedly. So
yeah, well, that was the way things were then. It was the men rule everything, and
women are in the kitchen and popping out children.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
I would not have survived that time frame at all. Nope.
Sorry to go back to the New England 1910s. You're in the kitchen, I'm working kind of thing. So we had set up an investigation, and about 2 nights prior to the investigation, I very rarely dream. And if I do, I can't remember the dream.
I know how that is. Yeah.
But I had a dream that it was a group of like 4 of us. We were up on the 2nd floor, and the spirit was threatening one of my female investigators. And I'm very protective of my team. Regardless if it was a dream or reality, I am very protective of my team, whether it be an actual living being or the spiritual realm. I am like, if you want to do that to them, you can do it to me. So we had a female investigator that was up with us. The dream, let me get to the dream first. But the dream itself was, we were up on the 2nd floor. We were doing an EVP session. And the female investigator was like, my back's getting really hot. And I was like, okay, what's going on? So I went over and I was like, okay, where's it at? What's going on? What did you feel? You know, things like that. Oh, D-Hoot. Okay, I love you. But like, I went over during the dream and she's like, no, it like really hurts on my lower back. And I was like, okay. So I lifted up her shirt and there were 3 scratch marks across her lower back. And I was like, okay. In the dream, I'm like, immediately lost my shit. I was like, oh, you can do that to her, but you can't do it to me? Come on, let's go. And I haven't been investigating for 27 years, and I'm not one to provoke. But when something happens to a teammate of mine, that dad mode kicks in and like, hey, if you could do that to them, do it to me. Come on. Like, if you're that big of a man to do it to a female, step up and do it to me.
But at that point too, like, I don't know if it would be so much like antagonizing the spirit as you're stepping up and like saying that is defending. Not okay to do that. Yeah.
So this all happened during the dream and everything. And during the dream, I ended up getting, like, the dream progressed. We moved to a different part of the floor, into a different room. And I was sitting in a chair, and all I remember is like sitting in the chair and felt like I was being like held back.
Oh,
like somebody was like pushing on your shoulders, like holding you back in a chair. And I'm just like, okay, this isn't right. And that's when I woke up. And I was like, okay. Flash forward 2 days later, we go to do the investigation. I completely forgot about the dream. Because like I said, I don't really go into it. Sure enough, there was 4 of us on the 2nd floor. And one of my new, fresh, like, had never been on an investigation before, investigator was going, something's really itchy on my side.
Really?
And immediately I was just like, no fucking way. Excuse my language. I was like,
you're good. You're good.
Like, no way. So I pulled her downstairs and I was like, let me see. Like, if you're comfortable, let me see. She pulled up. Sure enough, 3 scratch marks right across like the midsection of her lower back. And I'm like, I had told my co-founder that was there with me about the dream 2 days prior after I had it. And immediately he's standing there, he saw the marks and he saw just a change in me. And I immediately turned around and went right back upstairs.
Oh, I just got chills.
I walked up on that floor and I was like, you could do that to somebody else. Do it to me. Come on. And I was the only person on this floor. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you want to take advantage of a female and you want to do this to them. How come you can't do this to me? Why do you have to hurt a female? And that was just like instinctual of me. Like, I have 2 daughters. So that was me like kicking into like dad mode. Like, no, this shit ain't going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
So it automatically kicked in and I immediately shot upstairs. I had no equipment on me. I had no audio recorder, no K2, nothing. I immediately just went upstairs and I'm standing in the middle of this hallway going, come on. What are you doing here? What's going on? And I remember I heard a loud crash coming from one end of the hallway because you come up the stairs in Madison and it splits into like a T to go down 2 hallways.
Oh.
And I'm standing in the middle of the hallway and I hear a loud crash come from my right hand side. And I'm like, All right, so I start walking down that way, and I have problems with my knee. So as soon as I start walking down that way, my knee dislocates.
Oh.
And I go down to the floor, and I'm like, a lot of profanity that probably shouldn't be said on air, just to save the reference. But there was quite a bit of profanity that was spewed that night. And then I'm sitting there, and I get up, and because my knee, I've had so many issues with it, I know how to pop it back into place. It hurts like hell, but you know, the same thing with somebody with like a shoulder or something like that. It just pops back into place. So I'm standing up there, and I'm like standing against the wall, and I'm like, I don't appreciate it. You know us, we're here. I'm like, do you not like me being the replacement for you? Because by no means am I domineering or talk down to women or anything like that. But it's like, do you not like male people up here because it feels like it's taking away from what you do? Because there were stories about how women were chained to the radiators and they weren't allowed to do things, and several stories of abuse of the women that were at this place. And I kind of took that personally. It's just one of those things that I'm just like, you can't do that. Especially not to my team. Like, you're not going to do that. And sure as hell, I went back down. I got back downstairs. My co-founder actually came up and was like, hey, are you good? Are you ready to go? Like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, all right, I'm good to go. Like, I said what I needed to say. I'm pretty sure it knows what my intent was.
Yeah.
I went outside, and all of a sudden I'm like standing there doing this. And my co-founder's like, you all right? Like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, just like something's itchy. Now, this was in February in Ohio. So it was probably 27, 28 degrees outside.
You're layered up then at this point.
I'm wearing a jacket. I'm wearing a hoodie. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. I'm wearing a t-shirt. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, what the hell? Mm. He's like, let me see. Because we'd known each other for long enough that he's like, all right, something's wrong. He's like, let me see. I lift up my shirt, same spot, 3 scratch marks.
Just like the female investigator had after you went and confronted him. He's like, all right, I got you too.
Yeah. He's like, oh, don't worry, I got more. Oh. So that was like the it interpreted from the dream to actually happening. I mean, it's kind of almost a premonition like.
Yeah, totally.
But I believe that spirit did not like me being up there being like, hey, this is my place, not yours. Stop doing what you're doing and be nice. And I don't think he took kindly to that.
No, it doesn't sound like he did. But at the same point, like, shame on him for picking on somebody that he would have in his time frame would have considered like weaker, right? So
lesser.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing is like, I've always told any investigator that's ever joined my team or anything like that, I've always told them, look, whether it be spiritual, physical, environmental, anything like that, I will look out for you. I still do it with my wife when we go on investigations. I'm like, hey, watch the stairs. Shine the flashlight down and make sure that she's hitting every stair and everything. And I'm just like, that's the protective side of it. To all the males out there listening, I know Big Daddy Andy is in the room right now, but like, it's one of those inherent reactions of you protect the female. It's like walking closest to the street. It's walking closest to the street. It's opening the door. It's sitting with your back, not facing the door. So it's like
chivalry. That's the word I'm looking for, right? Chivalry.
Yeah.
Inherently, it kicks in. So I do it regardless whether it's reality or spiritually. It kicks in for me.
Oh, I love that though. That's
so. Deedee, what's your interpretation here?
Well, I wonder, okay, so like in the dream, you were feeling protective over somebody, but you were being pinned down in the chair. So you felt like you didn't have the power to protect them. And you were also on a different floor than where it happened. So you felt very removed from whatever the situation was.
I felt
But-
like it was holding me down to the point I couldn't get there to
Yeah.
stop it
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah. So, I mean, that could apply to something in your life, but at the same time, you had that experience. It really happened. So it was a premonition dream where you actually did experience it. So then the spirit is I almost feel like then in that case, is the spirit challenging you? And then you went up there and it's almost like a reenactment, which is kind of scary because you were almost like it's puppet, right? Because you did
Almost.
you did
But knew what I was
exactly
gonna
like,
do. Yep.
yeah. Or it was showing you what was going to happen, before it happened.
And I tell you what, that was actually the last time I actually was at Madison Seminary. And
Oh.
this was back in 2008 or 9, I want to say. So it's been quite a while since I've been there because I moved down to Columbus, Ohio, which was 3 hours away from there. And I'm actually, for the first time in 15 years, going back this September.
Oh.
You're going back to the same
I am
place?
going back to the same place, and I'm going to that's one thing that's been in my head is I'm going to go and face whatever's up there and be like, look, we have our differences, but we can live together.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd be curious for you to
almost
set dream intentions too.
Yeah,
can you
that's-
let us
Before.
know?
Deedee, I'll have to talk to you about that on how to do that and everything, but
Yeah, for sure.
definitely would be an awesome thing to do.
Actually,
Yeah.
put a little bit of cards here.
Yeah, pull some
for you.
cards.
I did pull some. So
Oh,
it's
that's what you've
kind
been
of
over
like-
there. You've been over there just like, yeah, huh? Okay. Okay.
It kind of just feels like it's backing up the fact that the dream really was a connection to the building because
You're like that old lady over there just like, mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. I got you, honey. All right.
I love that so much. So the dream kind of would have been like the seeds that were planted, right? So you going from that dream into the seminary is kind of like that. It's the fruits coming into the, their season basically. So the dream was set. You knew what was going to go on, and then you forgot about it. But in the meantime, it's still building. It's still connecting, right?
So no pun intended. Am I got a shadow box?
The shadow box.
But
Ah.
get it
So,
together, Dani. Come on.
Okay, so things are coming, they're happening. Boom, you get there and you have this connection, right? So your
Okay.
Ace of Cups, like cups are that emotion, right? That premonitionary, the anything to do with your intuition. Boom, this is your major connection to the building here because anything to do with cups is about your intuition, about your feelings, about just that connection on an emotional level. And I feel like you kind of had all of that. You had the intuitive, like without even realizing it, that dream was kind of telling you, hey, this is going to happen. You got there, you started feeling the connection, the protectiveness, the emotion. Like it's not okay that the spirit did this. So you confronted it. It's like all of this kind of connected in this. It was like this brand new. Had you had prior to this event, had you had dreams where it was kind of like right on cue before?
I kind of had a dream about the same place, or not the same place, but I had a dream about Waverly Hills before the first time I went there. And
So-
it was literally like I was walking the hallways of my dream and I had never been there before. And I was 4.5 hours away from Waverly Hills. But when I got there, people are like asking, because I went with my team of 8 people, and they're like, oh, where was this? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's down this hallway, take a left and go up the stairs. And I'm like,
From dreaming. From a dream.
That's cool.
like, how do I know this? Like, what? I've never been here before. I'm just as blind as you. Like,
You connected.
I did. I
You
did.
totally did. And then the last card I pulled for you kind of is exactly how you ended that whole story with Knight of Swords. You went in there like you were like, nope, I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to make sure that you're not. So the whole thing with swords is like your intellect, your thought processes. And this is like a knight. He's charging into battle and you weren't going to let this person pick on your teammate. So.
And that's the thing. Like, I never walk into a location and necessarily provoke or anything like that. I go into a location with respect, the utmost respect for the spirits that have passed, as well as, and I will add this, as well as the spirits that hitchhiked to a location from other people.
Yeah. That does
So
happen too.
I don't know if the spirit that was at this location was original to, or if it was something that was more nefarious that somebody brought in and then they were like,
Oh.
hey, this looks like a good place. I'm going to jump off here.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
It could
Huh.
have been. I always
Maybe
wondered
come
with
with a
that.
girl.
So, like, if you're going into a place where there would have been a lot of like the melancholy, the sadness, like all the stress, like the lower
There-
energies, right? So I
there
was
was a
wondering
lot
if,
of
like,
mistreatment.
yes, so that like has an energy to it. I always feel like when you say about like things tagging along, like, and then they stick around because it's like a feeding ground for them. Like that energy is kind of like a nourishment for them, which is
Correct.
kind of
Like,
scary to think
it's
about.
one of those things where it's just like, it is really honestly scary to think about that. Like, say you have an attachment that it can just pick and choose, like, oh, hey, I like this place. This is where I'm going to get off. And then all of a sudden you like walk out and you're like, oh, I feel different.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
And
what
then it
was
can
that?
catch up with you again later, though. They can come
It
back.
can. Yeah. Especially if a place you visit locally multiple times.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't like this place. I'm coming back to you.
It's like, oh,
Why?
damn it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with
Crazy.
attachments. If you don't know
Mhm.
like the signs for it, you don't really know that you have an attachment. I've had multiple attachments, so I've kind of gotten the hints. It's like Blue's Clues over here going, I got a pencil. You know, so I've kind of gotten to the point of like knowing when something's off with my energy.
Yeah,
So
because it can be such a subtle thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't necessarily, it's not like blaring in your face, hey, I'm an
No.
attachment. Yeah.
it's a simple change in demeanor, you
Mhm.
know, a change in eating habits or everyday life, you know, and that's something
Yeah.
people don't really talk about a lot is attachments. And
Yeah.
one of my lectures that I do at events is actually on attachments.
Oh.
So it's, you know, it's Jenny's heard it. Jenny Davis is in the chat right now. She's heard it before. And she knows her deal with hitchhikers because she picked up a very nasty hitchhiker one time from a place she had never been, that somebody, because Deedee, you had brought up about having somebody drop at a location and then pick up on somebody else.
Yeah.
That happened to Jenny. She actually got an attachment from the Hinsdale house in New
Oh.
York, and she had never been there. I mean, she lives in Minnesota, halfway across the country. Never been there, but she was around somebody that was very familiar with the house.
So kind of like jump from one person
Oh.
to the other kind of a
Huh.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happened.
Ugh.
And people don't believe it. People don't believe this kind of thing because it can't be seen, it can't be validated, it can't be, you know, explained.
But it's still
And-
energy at the end of the day. And that's what we're connecting with, whether it be investigations, dreams, tarot, all of that is that same, regardless of how you want to, and this is totally just my opinion here. It's all the same realm. It's all the same stuff, basically. So I mean, it makes total sense for me that, yeah, you can pick up something that someone, it's been traveling around with them and they're just like, oh, hey, new person. They look fun. I'm going to jump over there, you know?
Yeah. Even like when you're just around a group of people or you go someplace and like the energy, like you go to one grocery store and the energy is so bad that you feel gross when you leave or mad or discouraged. And you go to another grocery store and everybody's upbeat and you come out like recharged. Like energy is so huge, you know, and I don't know if we're getting it from the spiritual world or just ourselves, but
I feel the same way every time I walk into a Whole Foods because these people are miserable.
Winco for me.
Like I walk into Whole Foods and I'm like, eat meat. Come on.
Oh my goodness. You know, I do think like
Sorry, that was the joke there.
No, and I appreciate it. Trust me. Yeah, being someone who went from vegan to non-vegan, I get it.
How was that transition? Did they have to do multiple surgeries or was it like a mindset or like were you laid up for a couple weeks or
I struggled with that one. I'm telling you. No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's one of those because I feel very horrible about like the whole process of how we modern processing of meat and stuff. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's just very, in my opinion, it's not personal, it's cruel. So I'm like, I always try to like back away from it. And then I don't know, whatever it is.
I did it. The event I did this weekend, there was a wet specimen table right to the side of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm going to get up and go check out what they have. 'Cause I'm an oddity collector.
Mhm.
And just yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of me getting my bearded dragon.
Aw.
So it was her got me day. And
Well, happy little birthday to her.
the first thing I see in the West specimen was a bearded dragon. And I was like,
Oh, that's like
I'm done. I'm done.
Oh,
Like, if I didn't have one personally, I'd have been like, oh, cool, it's another one. But
Right?
like personally having one, I'm just looking at it going, that could be mine.
Yeah,
Like,
because it's the
yeah.
energy
I was
you put into
sad.
things, right? The way you feel, the emotion you put
Yeah.
into it. Yeah.
And I was the one that didn't want it. My wife wanted one, and I'm gonna be my birthday's in 4 days. I bought my wife a bearded dragon for my birthday because she would not let up. So we went out to dinner one night, and I'm just like, let's stop by the pet store. We'll just go look. And then next thing I know, I'm walking out with a tank, a bearded dragon, everything to go with it. Like,
See? Yeah, but do you regret it? Probably not, right?
that's what happens when you get married, guys. Please.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not giving relationship advice here, but I'm just saying, like, hey.
Right. Now you're gonna end up having dreams about someone. Yeah.
It's gonna be my wife over me with a pillow over my
Mhm.
face.
Yep. Yep.
I love this balance because Deedee's over here just stone faced, just like, Dani, you're over here just like cracking up, laughing, and everything. It's that yin and the yang.
We balance well. We do.
no, I struggle with the whole meat thing myself. I've always eaten meat and I stopped for like a period of time and I've never been so healthy in my life. And
Yeah.
then my mom made pork chops and then I was done, but I was sick as hell after when I stopped
Once
eating
you
meat and I ate
start-
meat again. I got so
Yeah.
sick. Oh my God.
That's the
And I
thing.
hate
Your
myself
body's
for
not
eating
used
meat,
to
but
it.
yeah.
Your body's not used to it. It has to be reintroduced, and like your body has to like acclimate to like, oh, what are you putting in me now?
Right. Well, that's like a whole energy
Yeah.
thing, though, too, because everything had like literally everything has energy. So
Yeah.
The first time
It's-
I got Reiki, I was like, my body's like, what the hell are you doing to me? It like completely backfired on me. And I was like,
Well,
is it supposed to feel this way? Like, I've
it's
never
a
had this
purge.
done.
well, okay, so you've had Reiki. So it's one of those like it's pushing all of the
Yeah.
you're taking in the energy and it's pushing all the bad stuff out, right? And you're
Yeah,
like,
the
you're
bad
getting
stuff's just like, I don't want to go.
That's
We're
why a lot of
comfortable
times they'll
here.
suggest like when you first start, like doing like in like session like 3 to 4 sessions, just to like make sure you're all flushed out and clean. And oh, it's such an experience though.
I'm
That's
going to be
amazing.
40 in 4 days. It kind of sounds like a colonoscopy. So, I mean,
Well-
I'm avoiding that. You make sure you're clean in like 3 days. You're good to go.
Oh my goodness. Stop
It
You're-
is the spiritual colonoscopy. We'll call it that.
There you know
Yeah,
what? I
there you
will
go.
never look at Reiki the same ever again.
Because you're just going to see a camera just. Well, I'm glad I could bring some humor to the show tonight. I am so glad you guys brought me on. You guys are at
Thank
your
you.
mark. I really do appreciate having me come on and share my story. And
Yeah, thank
You
you for
know,
sharing.
Thank
You
you,
know,
Russ.
definitely-
This has been such a joy. Seriously, thank you.
You know, I'm gonna send you both cards reminding you about your spiritual colonoscopy coming up. So definitely make sure you call your PCP and set up that appointment.
yeah, I'm never gonna look at Reiki the same ever again. Now,
Now you're gonna be laying there getting Reiki, and you're just gonna be like,
yup, giggling like a 12-year-old because I can't help myself.
No, but thank you guys so much for having me on and telling my story and everything. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Russ.
thanks.
Seriously, thank
No,
you.
thank you.
And keep us posted on since you're going there again, what happens,
Please.
and we can talk about setting.
I will
intentions, too.
definitely do a live because Jenny's going with me.
Oh,
Okay, then we will have
So-
to tune in for your live then.
Jenny and I, it's going to be my first time back. She was there this past year. And so this is the first time she's going to be back with me. I know the history of that building better than anyone else because I had investigated for 10 years. So her coming back with me, is going to be very interesting to see if the spirits remember me, which I believe they will because of the energy imprint that was left on the building by me. But it'll be interesting to see the reaction I get from the building.
Like how the vibe's going to be this time around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See if it's changed. Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely set your intention for a dream before.
Yeah, she's going next month without me, so I'm sure I'm going to be on the phone with her, telling her, "Go here, this room, second door on the left. Go into that room, sit in this chair." But Adam's done a great job with Madison as well as Fairfield and Indiana State, so he's done a great job, reintroducing it and rehabbing it and everything like that. So hands down to Adam Kimmel with those 3 locations and running it so great.
Nice. Yeah, that's something to
Taking
do.
on a haunted location, let alone 3, is a task in itself.
There's the organization skills alone to be able to.
I don't think that man has a life or sleeps.
I think that's what happens.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's his passion though. Then, so you have to have a passion for that to want to be able to do that. Yeah.
Well, Adam and I have a very sordid kind of history because he was in the same town when I started my group as his group was going on. So we were kind of competing for locations. And then when I found out he got Madison, that he bought it, and I was like,
good for him.
Well, there goes my group, going up there, well,
or
shit.
y'all can just talk it out and hang out and.
Well, I had moved a month later, so I was like, "There's no point." So, but it will be my.
If you want to investigate a location, just buy it.
Yeah, right. That's what has to happen nowadays.
If I could, I would. Trust me.
Yeah, me too.
Now, I want to give a shout out to my brother Ian Murphy. His show's coming on at 6 with Get Moderated. So, oh wait, he already did.
Yeah, it happened.
I missed it. Holy hell. That was a hell of an event today.
To catch it on the replay. I wasn't able to catch it.
Yeah,
live.
I'm gonna have to catch it on the replay.
On that one. Yeah.
But no, guys, again, thank you so much for having me on. You guys, I wouldn't jump off here. I continue to talk, but I gotta eat.
Yes, no, please go eat before you pass out. Yeah. Seriously.
Well, I gotta do my show in 45 minutes. So
yes. So I'll have to tune in for that one then.
So yeah, tune in 9:00 Eastern Standard Time, 8:00 Central Time. Unturned Pages, Jenny Davis and I. We have Vince Kleiny, Urban Explorer, just did an event in Ashmore. Great guest.
Oh yeah,
cool.
I know it, but I should. Yeah,
Urban Explorers are fun.
Yes, you're gonna see his picture and you're gonna be like, yeah, him.
That guy.
Well, we will tune in for your show then.
Yeah.
We'll go eat, get rested up, and whatever you need to do before your show. And
much appreciated, guys. Thank you so much for coming or for having me on. I love doing this as a host. It's great to come on as a guest because I don't have to ask the hard questions.
Right? You don't have to worry about being on. Yeah. Nope. It's great.
No, thank you guys so much. You guys are both sweet souls and beautiful, and I love you guys to death. You guys are amazing. Dani, stop being so reclusive. Come back out.
I know. I know. No, but for real, he's right. I do need to
kick the door in and be like, "I'm here, bitch."
You'll see me out and about. I'm sure. I have to start pushing myself out there a little.
Gettysburg. Are you gonna be in Gettysburg? Oh no, that's a no.
I don't know. No, so
I'll
be around Gettysburg. I am flying out to go see my brother in Georgia in July. So yes,
that'd be more down than out.
Over, down, yes. Flying down to Georgia.
You're going down yonder.
But I'll be around though. So
all right.
So
Good deal.
I will see you at some point. Russ, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, sweetie.
I don't know why I'm doing that praying hands, but
I'm praying. It's all good. All right, I'm gonna take you down here, sir. See ya.
Bye. Thanks.
Oh, I didn't mean to go.
That's what I did last time.
I know.
I guess before Sam said she wanted a card.
Oh, okay. We're gonna pull a card. See ya. Okay.
That was really cool, though. That's a really interesting story.
Okay. Hold on. I feel like I need to shuffle a little bit more. Ooh, I need a clarification card. All right, Sam, you got the Hanged Man, and I will show you what that looks like in a second. Oh, okay. So, all right, the Hanged Man is one of those cards where the clarification card is, I'll show you that one then too. So with the Hanged Man, this is usually one of those where you're putting a lot of your own energy in. You're putting way more of your own energy in than maybe you necessarily need to, because you are so worried about everybody else. You want everyone else to be taken care of. It's almost like a martyr card though too, because you're just you want to be that one that can help them, like without realizing you're putting that much energy in. But it's gonna start balancing out for you, because if this has just been you putting in a lot of hard work. So 8 of Pentacles, right? If you can see this man is perfecting his craft, right? He has all of these different pentacles that he's worked on. He looks very proud of his work. So this is one of those, like, you've been so worried about everybody else and you've been putting a lot of your energy out there. So pull it in a little bit for yourself, and all that hard work that you've been putting in for your craft is going to start shining way brighter than you realized it ever could. So I don't know if that makes any sense. I can pull another card if that doesn't make sense at all. I just feel like you got a lot going on and you're putting a lot of time and energy into everybody, but don't forget about yourself there. And yes, don't forget about yourself. Everyone loves you. This is one of those cards of family coming together, stability, having just everything that you need is at your disposal. Wow. Hi.
I can things be disposable.
But this is just, everything's coming together. So make sure you give yourself a little bit more love too, because the groundwork has already been laid for everybody else. This is time for you to be able to put time and effort into yourself and let yourself shine the way you are supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad that makes sense. I never know if I'm hitting the mark or not with them. So good. I'm glad. Thank you.
You do great readings. What are you talking about? It's always so interesting. And I can see how it totally, and thank you for doing mine, because that kind of gave me some, like I kind of like never like pulled any cards for myself or thought too much about it. So that like really, it gave me something. I realized that was letting me know to make that connection. So that's
no, that definitely was. I think that was either the spirit or the location itself was definitely connecting with you, especially with the mirror too. It was definitely letting you know, hey, you've got this. This is a connection. This is real. So, and thank you for sharing your experiences. Those were amazing experiences. And the EVP was phenomenal. So, holy cow.
Oh, thank you.
So for our next show, I think we said May 5th is our next show.
Yeah.
So everybody on the side, we will get a write-up out there. Topic information will all get out there. I promise you. But May 5th will be our next show. In the meantime, if people have dreams, should they send them in to us? And,
you can. Oh, you mean for the show? Yeah.
Yeah.
They can, if you have any questions about dreams, or if you want us to share a dream on the show that's too long to type on the side, we can do that.
Yes.
We can do analysis and pull cards.
If you end up having a dream that you're very excited about or really need a good explanation for, Deedee she has a website that you can go to, and she does a beautiful job of doing an in-depth analysis, and you pull cards for the dreams as well, right? And that whole bundle it's a very easy process. Deedee, what's the website for that?
It's the dreamsinterpreter.com. And then, like you said, I'll give you a dream analysis. I'll tell you how I came to that analysis. So it kind of teaches you a little bit of how to do it yourself. And then I'll pull cards for clarification. And then I'm out actually in training right now with the UC Reiki.
Yeah. Usu Reiki.
So I'm halfway through, and I really felt like I tried to take the class like 2 years ago, and it just didn't flow for me.
No.
And I'm like, I paid for this. I should go back and take a second look at it. And I restarted taking it. And now it makes sense to me and it flows. And I'm like, I really feel led to do this, but I feel like it'll tie into my dream interpretation. So we'll see what that leads to. But
yes. And it's just like the timing was just right for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything, you have to do things. You can't force things. It has to be in the right time.
I believe that fully. Well, everybody, what is this? Have you ever had a
So
dream where your husband does something and you wake up mad at
I
him?
can't remember an example.
That is such
but
a
yeah.
good question.
That's
You've
happened
been
to me.
mad-
I've woken up and it, you know, been mad at somebody, or it takes you a few minutes to realize, like when you wake up, you're like, is that a memory? You're like, oh no, that was a dream. And you're like, oh, okay, it's fine. But
Oh, okay, yeah.
it can mean something too, you know, depending on what it's
Right.
about. That means it's letting you know that you have, you know, it could be about you and less about them, but it does mean
There's
have meaning.
something there, right? Like in the subconscious, there's something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Well, everyone on the side, thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, Mark, I will make sure that I share that with Deedee then. Thank you so much for sending that in. Sam. Yeah, so see you guys next time. Oh, Deedee, seriously, thank you. Thank you for sharing your experiences. And to Russ, I know he had to pop off. Thank you. This is such a great show. I feel like I'm rambling now. I need to stop.
We're past our hour now. We don't know what to do with ourselves.
I know, this is so bad. But no, everybody on the side, thank you so much for your time and for tuning in on a Sunday night and for just sharing this experience with all of us. Hope you all have a great night. Oh, thank you, Eric.
Good night.
All right, bye.